My name is Captain Olimar. While traveling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. I must have blacked out, and I woke on the surface of a weird planet. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hull of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone. I'm stranded. To make matters worse, my atmospheric sensors indicate this planet's environment contains high levels of poisonous oxygen. My level's life support systems can function for only 30 days. If I can't repair the dolphin by then, no, better not to think about it. I must find the missing ship parts. Hello everybody, this is Thannus here, and today we are starting our brand new Let's Play of Pikmin. I am playing specifically the Wii version, as you can tell by me moving my cursor not relative to where I am facing as Olimar. At least I believe that's how it works in the GameCube version. But, yeah, I felt like this was a nice step forward, especially after, the long LPs we've been doing as of late. I wanted to do something nice, short, and simple. The first Pikmin game is the shortest one by far, so I thought it would be a nice fit to do after all of those. So we're just going to wander around here for a small bit. And if we go ahead and approach this right over here, we find a strange thing has appeared before me. I had barely begun my search when it reared up as if it was waiting for me. It then dropped a single seed. What is it? Is it alive? Is it a machine? It resembles a vegetable on my home planet that we call an onion. I shall call this an onion, too. Alright, so this is an onion. I'm not gonna get too much into what these do. Although you probably could have gathered it by that right there. So if we approach this bud that just sprouted, the seed that the onion dropped took a root in the soil and has produced an adorable little sprout. The sprout emits a strange light and it sways back and forth without benefit of wind. I cannot help but think it is calling to me. I am compelled. I must approach it and press A. Way to break the fourth wall. Anyway, let's go ahead and do exactly that, and suddenly we have our very first Pikmin. Extraordinary. When I plucked the sprout, it turned into be a living creature, not a plant. Picking has done no visible damage, it just stands there staring at me. Its shape is similar to the Pikmin brand carrots I love so much. I believe I shall call it a Pikmin. Here I am, stranded on a toxic planet, fighting to survive, and yet I'm intrigued. I must research this fascinating creature. I shall try to grab it with A, and then throw it in the direction I point, and I will call it to my side with B. Perhaps it will react to C in pressing down on the D-pad while pointing as well. The following controls appear to allow me from several viewpoints. Z, rotate camera behind Olimar. D-pad left and right, zoom. D-pad up, change perspective. I must survive. I need to familiarize myself with these controls and my surroundings. That is all very correct, so if we go ahead and use the left and right buttons of the D-pad, we cycle through the sizes of the camera, this specific size right here, where it's about this size. That works for me the most. If we go ahead and press down on the D-pad, we kind of direct the Pikmin in a sort of march. If we go ahead and zoom in, B is whistle. If we throw the Pikmin, if we press A, we throw a Pikmin. If we press A without Pikmin, we punch. And then, if we press up on the D-pad, we change our perspective. What is going on? What does this Pikmin think of me? I must observe its reactions. The more things I try, the more reactions I can catalog. I shall attempt to grab and throw it with A and call it to my side with B. Perhaps it will react to C and pressing down on the D-pad while pointing as well. Now, hold on. If we press C, Pikmin will disperse while in your party. If you press B on a Pikmin, it'll call all Pikmin in that radius to your party. You can radiuses with lighter presses, medium radiuses, and then holding down the button will just do it for a certain amount of time. At its maximum size. If you hold it down for that long, it appears much longer. However, you make it go to full size, you can let go, and then it will not be visible for as long. So we're gonna take our Pikmin here, and Pikmin are good for three specific things in this game. And they are very essential, seeing as the game's literally named after them. So you can actually hold Pikmin around by holding A, it'll stay in your hand, and it'll actually move with you regardless of its bud type, which I'll get into later when that actually comes into play. So if we throw him on this pellet here, he's going to pick it up and start carrying it. We're going to have to see where exactly he is carrying it. When they're leaves, they're a bit slow. Once again, you'll know what I mean by that later. Alright, my dude. You could quicken the pace a little bit, it wouldn't hurt. Alright, it seems like the pellet has gone into the onion and caused 2 more red Pikmin to sprout. Very cool. Astonishing, the onion has sown more seeds. The small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after cutting down a flower appears to be some type of food that can propagate more Pikmin. The onion seems to be a sort of incubator. Needless to say, I must study this strange life form more. Alright, so our Pikmin automatically went back to our party, oddly enough. I don't know why I said potty, that's not real mature of me. If you throw Pikmin directly on a bud, it will just immediately knock it over, regardless of the pellet size. If you throw the Pikmin at the bottom of the bud, and these are called candy pop buds. No, no, they're not. Candy pop buds are completely different. If you throw them at the base of the pellet, it will just attack it at the base, and then it will drop eventually. I remember the name of that specific type of plant now. Those are called pellet posies. Pikmin pellets will sprout from said pellet posies. So we're gonna go ahead and talk. Actually, this is a nice way to demonstrate the march mechanic. So if we go ahead and hold down the D-pad, we can direct all of our Pikmin in that direction, and they will all march right towards that pellet and pick it up as a team. Marching is not Pikmin specific, so once we have more types of Pikmin, we will have to focus our effort. I don't know why I pressed C, I didn't mean to do that. More types of Pikmin, we have to make sure we're strategizing a bit better, because marching applies to all Pikmin in your party. Alright, I believe that's all the Pikmin we can find in this specific section, so once we have enough, we're going to push that box out of the way. Alright, over here, guys. Sprout. Please sprout for me. I would like it if you could sprout for me. Thank you much. Alright, let's go ahead and pluck all these. Also, I would like to mention, I am not playing this on an emulator. I am currently playing it on my Wii U. Yes, surprisingly, I have one of those. How appalling, I know. But that is what, at least I believe that's what is causing the little black bars on the side of the screen. If you can see those. If you can't see those, then all more power to you, because that's kind of annoying, for me. I might end up just adding, like, a sidebar on both those ends, but it might not be really necessary, because even then, video quality is pretty good for this game. It's a Wii game, so it doesn't look as good as it could, but it's still running on an HD console, which is good enough for me. The Pikmin are as curious as children. They form groups to perform tasks that would be impossible for an individual. A glimmer of hope has begun to shine in my heart. If I can make use of their skills, perhaps I can fix my ship. I shall sum up all I've learned of Pikmin conduct. Approach and press A to pick sprouts. Press A to grab Pikmin, release to throw. Press B to call them, and C to dismiss. Press down on the D-pad and point to command and control the group. Use Z and up and left and right on the D-pad to control perspective. I shall record this in my computer and access it with plus. Plus! That will queue up, can't really see anything right there, but if we press plus, you can see the number of Pikmin we have free, which is 11, the number of total Pikmin we have, which is 30. Not sure if that's completely accurate. Oh, wait, no, that's the number of ship parts we have, sorry. Number of Pikmin and onions, number of Pikmin we have in our squad, which is the top one. If we go over here, we can see our controls. And that gigantic blank square, ignore that for now. We can't do anything with that yet. Alright, we're going to take our Pikmin here. We're going to see what this is exactly. Amazing! There's no mistaking it! My ship's engine rests before my very eyes. By a stroke of pure luck, I have already stumbled upon the most important piece of my damaged craft. Fate has smiled upon me, but how will I get it back to the dolphin? Well, we'll find that out in a moment. So we're going to take our Pikmin. More Pikmin carrying than the pace it takes for them to walk it back to the onion. So, say this pellet has 1 required Pikmin. If we throw 2 on it, it'll be twice as fast. Same goes with this one. If we throw 5 Pikmin on this, or if we throw 10 Pikmin on that, it will That's close enough. I won't go through all 10. It will speed up the pace for that as well. And these two areas, this area back is going to ignore that spot for now. There's not much of a reason to pay any attention to that just yet. Also, if a pellet of one color is carried back to an onion of the same color, then twice as many Pikmin as the number on that pellet will sprout from the onion, which is very important to learn. When many Pikmin seeds sprout at once, I find it rather tedious to pluck them from the ground individually. My wife always told me I was no good at routine tasks. I'll try to get it all done at once by repeatedly tapping A until I pick all the Pikmin from the ground. I've noticed that when I add Pikmin to my group, they become filled with excitement and flushed with bright color. At other times, they revert to a paler hue and give off a dim glow. Paying close attention to the differences is bound to help me distinguish between Pikmin. This is something that I actually prefer to this game to Pikmin 2. Or not Pikmin 2. Pikmin 2 has the feature as well. But in Pikmin 1, lost Pikmin or Pikmin not in your squad would turn pale and have a glowing leaf. This also applies to Pikmin 2 as well. However, in Pikmin 3, when a Pikmin is lost, it does not grow pale. Its leaf grows, and that is it. I don't know why they removed it, but honestly, I actually prefer it because it's a lot easier to distinguish them in this game, and Pikmin 2. Another thing, plucking Pikmin like this, in this game, you have to repeatedly tap A. Same goes with Pikmin 2. However, in Pikmin 2, there is also an expansion item that allows you to sprout them all at once using your whistle. There is no such item in Pikmin 1. In Pikmin 3, there are two things that expedite it. One, I believe you only have to press A once, although my information may be outdated. It also depends on whether or not it applies to the Wii U or the Switch version, because there's now a Switch release of Pikmin 3, which I have yet to play. But you can also have multiple captains at once, instead of just one plucking the Pikmin, which also expedites it. Captains in Pikmin 1 will also, automatically start plucking Pikmin that are at the onion, if they're at the onion by the time the Pikmin get there. Which is very, very useful. Now we have 20 Pikmin, which means we have just enough to carry this engine all the way back to our ship. In fact, we have 5 extra. And since we don't really have we literally have nothing else to do on this level, actually. Well, yet. We're just gonna let them carry that back to the ship. Like I said, we can't get through that area yet. There's not really much else. There's not really much else we can do. There's literally nothing else we can do. So, we're just gonna leave them to it. I decided I wanted to do Pikmin because honestly, honest to God, this is one of my favorite games. It might seem weird to say that because I've played games like The Last of Us and Zelda on here before, and The Last of Us and Zelda, I will prefer to a greater degree. Same with Metroid. And it's odd, and it might seem even odder to you because Metroid Zero Mission specifically, is one of the games I have planned next. But I decided to do Pikmin first because honestly, I feel like this is one of the games I am best at. It's one of the games I understand the most intricately. So I feel like I'd be able to better explain it and give it more entertainment value in that regard and help you guys basically understand one of my favorite games more. This is a game I really, really love, and I hope you guys can learn to love it too. Oh, glorious! With the help of these Pikmin, I've taken a huge step back toward home. My ship can once again lift off. The glimmer of hope is beginning to burn more brightly. But what has become of the remaining parts? That search starts tomorrow. One day since impact. I have somehow managed to launch the Dolphin, but I was surprised to see the Onion lift off with me. Perhaps the Pikmin cannot survive overnight on the planet's surface. Or have they merely decided to join me for other reasons? Either way, it seems they will help me again tomorrow. The Dolphin is missing 29 parts. If I can't recover them all, I may never return home to my family on planet Hawketate. Analysis shows life support systems will function for only 29 more days. How can I repair my Dolphin at such a short time? A dense force is visible on the surface below. As it holds the keys to my survival, I'll name it the Forest of Hope. I'll explore it tomorrow. And this is basically, or these are basically our statistics for today. So, as you can see, we've sprouted 25 Pikmin. We have a total of 25 Pikmin now. We've lost 0 in battle and left behind 0. It is possible to leave behind Pikmin, and it'd be pretty embarrassing if you did it on your first day, although I'm not sure it's possible. May or may not be wrong. But just take this page into consideration just to kind of overview your performance of that specific day, see if you can improve in future days. Let's go ahead and save the game. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Pikmin. Goodbye.